Okay, welcome everybody to the 6 p.m. City Council meeting of May 21st, 2019. Let the record reflect that all council members are present except for Councilmember Blair and Councilmember Lopez, who are celebrating graduation or awards ceremonies for their kids.
Or they didn't want to sit next to me.
Right, one of the two. But can't think of a better reason to miss a meeting than to go celebrate that. So, also, we are without the mayor tonight for the same reason, and we support him in that as well. I'll turn to Councilmember Chaburka for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, we've asked Emily and Elia to come up from the audience and help lead us in the pledge, which I really appreciate. There you go, right there. Yeah, right there. Where? Yeah. Oh, you can stand right there. Yeah, you can stand right over there. Sorry, I didn't tell them where to sit.
Brandon, help me.
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, come over there. That's okay.
We have a thing that's not going to help very much, but you can stand right there.
We might need to get a taller one. Huh?
That's
Yeah,
perfect.
perfect.
Right here.
Now we can see him.
Say,
There we go.
please stand. She's gonna fall. Ready?
I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Nicely done.
I heard she just finished kindergarten, so she's, new at this
Wow.
point.
Yep, that's impressive. Get him started early. Okay, if you'll please consider joining us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, first item on our agenda is recognition for Lily Holman for her service on the Ogden City Planning Commission, and Councilmember Heyer is very eager to read this as a former commissioner himself.
I did attain planning commissioner emeritus status, I understood, if there is such a thing. We should mention, Chair, that there are 5 of the planning commission that serve the city here tonight. They are all indicative of the work ethic that Lily has demonstrated over the past 12 years or so. And Lily and I have been, we've been to APA conferences together. We've done some scouting together. I might get a little misty when we read this, so forgive me if I do so. But anyway, the Ogden City Council and Mayor proudly recognize Lily Holman for providing invaluable contributions to the Ogden community. Having served on the Planning Commission for more than 12 years, Lily Holman has exhibited dedication and commitment to Ogden City. In her time as a planning commissioner, Lily was involved in several committees, including the Landmarks Commission and the Steering Committee for the Jefferson Community. Her valuable insight and work ethic have positively influenced the growth and development of Ogden. Lily served on the Planning Commission from September 26, 2006 to February 6, 2019. In August 2018, she accepted the role as Vice Chair of the Planning Commission and maintained that role through the rest of her tenure. We are grateful for Lily's service to the Ogden community. Her significant contributions will have a lasting impact on the city for many years to come. We wish her the best in all her future endeavors and look forward to all that she will accomplish in the next chapter of her life. This is presented this 21st day of May, 2019. Now, Lily, if you'd come up, you might, it's okay if we shake some other planning commissioners' hands too. So if they want to come up with you and your family that's been here with you also. We also have 2 planning staff people that came to support Lily also. So I wanted to mention them.
So we were a dynamic group here. So.
Yep.
Yeah, couldn't
Very.
be alone. Come on up.
Come on over here. You gotta do the handshake, and then we gotta do the pictures before you talk.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But
Handshake,
we got a
pictures,
system.
then talk.
We're not going to let you not do it.
Okay, we'll start down here.
Nice.
Always remember.
Oh,
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Thanks, Lily.
Be blessed, indeed.
Thank you,
My
Lily.
dear friend.
thank you so much for your service.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a joy.
On days, right?
Indeed.
Okay, bring your people, and we're going to take a picture.
You're so heavy.
It's gonna be about hammer.
Wanna come with me?
Sarah, you got to come on up too now. Yeah.
This makes our group a little shorter. A little.
Mark's sliding in
Yeah,
here.
come on
I'm
up.
a planning commissioner emeritus myself.
He's a little, he is. We can
That's
put Greg in there.
awesome. Yeah,
Greg, are you
anything.
coming up?
Oh, of course.
Greg?
Oh,
and-
come on, Greg.
That's right. We are not going to get Reagan's not. Thank you.
I sit on my tiptoes, so I bounce.
No, I don't. I have to usually.
Get a little closer together. Act like you like each other for a little bit. There you go.
So somebody's so short, stand.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah,
what?
it
All
feels a
right,
little
over
short.
here. 1, 2, 3. 4. Here. You want to get up there? I can send you a picture of this if you want.
I'm on.
Come on up, come on.
Had to raise
Yeah.
Finally gave up.
Alright. Alright, I think I got enough.
That's what happens.
Okay, now you can talk, Lily. Sorry.
You know, I said I wasn't going to cry. I'm going to be a big egg. I used to tell my children when they were younger. But I do want to say, first of all, I want to give honor to God for the opportunity to come forth into the world in Ogden, Utah, right at St. Benedict's Hospital back in 19...
She didn't get that.
And as many of you know, my tenure here, I grew up here, graduated from Ogden High School, go OHS, and transitioned to some other places, never thinking I would come back to Ogden, Utah, and stay 17 years, serve with the Planning Commission, and see Ogden City transform into a city that we can all be proud of. I've been gone 3 short months. I came back, I saw all the wonderful signage that's throughout the city. I saw the scooters that are on the streets and some other things that are going on here, some new buildings. I said, Ogden is really on the move. And it has just been a joy all these many years to walk alongside each of you, my planning commissioners, the staff, and the residents and community of Ogden to see us grow to this degree. And greater things are yet to come. So it is my prayer as I transition into another season of my life that continue to do what you do. Because you do it from a heart of compassion, you do it from a heart of wanting to make Ogden City the very best, and you do it because this is where God has planted you to make a difference in the world, starting right here in Ogden City. So may you be blessed, may God always smile upon you, and may favor always rest on the residents, the city council, the government officials of Ogden City. And thank you again for the privilege of serving alongside of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lily. Mr. Chair, if I might, I think this is really good that we are actually honoring people before they're dead. This is so much nicer to be able actually able to hear from them after they've put their heart and soul into what they do for the city. So thanks again, Lily.
You're most welcome. And speaking of being almost dead, I had a birthday yesterday, but the God's rewards for
I
living.
knew that. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, indeed. So, soldier on. Yeah, good things are coming. Thank you again. Be blessed. Yeah.
Well, Lily, we ought to have you here more often. You are a very positive presence. I feel much better.
The joy of the Lord is all of our strength.
I agree. I do agree. God bless you, Lily.
Chair, if I could just say one thing or
Please do.
a few things, but
Yeah.
you know, when I first got on the council and still now 6 years later into this, all of the acronyms that they have to understand and know and I mean, R1 versus M2 versus whatever, CO. I'm telling you, thankfully, there are people in this world that know it and
love it.
and love it. So, and I just want to say thank you for your service. It's a thankless job. And so I appreciate it, and it's made our job so much easier. So thank you very much. And I think there's an acronym for that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
G.
I definitely agree. And I also want to just thank all the other planning commissioners that are here for your time served. We just really admire and respect all the work that you put into the process that you go through and take that into consideration because it is very hard to be an expert in that area. So we just appreciate all of your service so much.
It's absolutely not lost on us.
Yeah, on a side note, whenever we do start talking about planning things, our chair goes to sleep.
Hey,
So
I
it's
don't-
really good that
Let's clarify. Time out. This is why they give me a mic. I don't fall asleep. I just don't follow along. Yeah. I have a hard time with acronyms. That's all. Come on, man.
okay. Well, I'm really thankful that these other commissioners came because, I feel the same way about them. They just haven't resigned. They're still serving, so we got to wait till they're done before we honor them. But it's coming, and we're trying to do that before you die.
Nicely said. That was poetic. Hey, y'all should know,
Mortality is real.
Councilmember Heyer, when I don't follow along and I'm struggling to keep up, this guy is really hyped up. He gets really geeked out and excited. He loves planning, but y'all should know he loved his time on the planning commission. It's clear in serving alongside him how much he misses his time there. And he always follows along with the work you guys are doing, speaks highly of every single one of you. So thank you for your service and thank you for calling me out.
My pleasure. Happy to do it anytime.
Anytime.
Appreciate that. Okay. Next item on our agenda is approval of minutes. I think council member, for the regular meeting of December 4th, 2018, council member White was going to review those in council member Blair's absence.
Yes, Chair Nadolski, I reviewed those and found them to be accurate and would approve those minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by council member White, second by council member Heyer to approve the minutes. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. I guess I didn't add my aye, did I? But it was an aye. Thanks, Marcia, for
Yeah.
stepping in. Okay, next item on our agenda is common consent. We'll be reviewing the consideration of the appointment of Nick McMillan to the Ogden Trails Network Committee and setting a public hearing for the Quail Run Drive street vacation.
Chair Nadolski, I would make a motion that we approve the common consent agenda and set the public hearing on item B for June 4th.
I second it.
A motion by Councilmember Heyer, second by Councilmember Stevens to approve the items of common consent. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes.
Chair Nadolski, I have a
Yeah.
comment.
Uh-huh.
Just, are we still trying to look at all districts when we appoint new members onto the different networks or the different committees?
That's a good question. Was there the heat map in the packet on this one? Can you remind me? We've been getting the heat map, haven't we?
Yeah, there was not one.
Not one on this one?
Just the encouragement of continuing to look at that. I didn't.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Councilmember White. I guess we did not on this one, so good reminder. Thank you. Okay, next item is public hearings, fiscal year 2019 budget amendments. I suppose that's Mrs. Lisa is with us.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair. It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. I would like to just review for the record the budget opening ordinance before you this evening. We have reviewed this in a work session, so I will recap. In the general fund, we're proposing to transfer $18,000 to the CIP fund to help with improvements to ball fields under CIP project RG070. This is for safety and improvements to lights around the ball fields. Additionally, we are proposing a transfer of $100,000. This is funds that were appropriated several years ago for a loan to a developer. The timeline was not met, so the funds are sitting there, and we're proposing to transfer them to the CIP fund to help with the demolition of the Courtyard Inn. Also, we're proposing transferring some funds from a professional and technical account we use to do continuing sustainability study that went unused this year. The council's in the process of a public survey, so we put this project on hold. We're proposing transferring $50,000 of that to the CIP fund to help with the Courtyard Inn demolition. In addition, we are proposing an appropriation of fund balance from the Tourism and Transportation Fund. This is the TRT tax. That fund currently has a balance of approximately $200,000 sitting available. We're proposing an appropriation of $42,000. This will help with to defray some of the costs associated with the Spike 150 event. In the CIP fund, we're proposing reappropriating the critical project contingency balance of $142,000 to help with the RG070 project. These are the light poles at the ball fields. And we're proposing appropriating $150,000 to the Courtyard Inn demolition due to increased costs because of some of the technical aspects of that demolition. We're also asking to appropriate the municipal ramp funds. The total received by the city this year was $86,201. We're proposing that this be appropriated to the expansion of the D Park parking lot. We are also asking to appropriate the $160,000 for the RG070 project for the ball fields at Castile and 4th Street. And then finally, a use of formerly funded CIP. This is for a slide incident on Valley Drive. Engineering will not need those funds until fiscal year 20. The mayor's tentative budget has the $100,000 proposed to replace this. This allows them to continue their work on the I apologize, I said that wrong. The money coming over from the general fund to the CIP fund was helping I did say it right. I'm sorry. This $100,000 is going to the Courtyard Inn demo. And the money coming from the general fund was going to help with the light poles. Additionally, in the golf fund, we're asking to appropriate or reappropriate $70,000. This was an appropriation a couple of years ago that had been put on hold. They were waiting for some information to come back. They're ready to proceed on some improvements to the El Monte Clubhouse. Additionally, we're asking to appropriate $318,225 from a tenant improvement fund. These are rental fees that have been set aside from Rite Aid to be appropriated for a property purchase that will benefit that area, that Rite Aid area. Additionally, we're asking to appropriate $2.3 million, and I'll just say $2.3 million. Let's just round. This was funds left over from prior years in the fleet fund that will be used for replacement. And administration sent a detailed replacement list to council staff if you'd like to review that. And finally, we're asking to appropriate $1.1 million in the IT fund. These purchases are internal purchases for police, fire, other departments within the city. They have funding to support these. We're simply asking to recognize the activity in the IT fund at this point in time. And finally, to appropriate out of fund balance $576,325. These are ERP funding. This has been I think we're in the third year of the 5-year ERP project. These are funds that were left from prior years that are being rolled forward, and the plan is that they will use them. Any questions?
Any questions for Lisa?
What's the total amount for that demolition for the courtyard in? You know?
Brandon, do you? I can't remember the original appropriation right now. Was it 150?
Yeah, we're still working up the final cost estimate right now that we can actually get into the building and start breaking it apart and understanding how everything's connected. I think currently we're appropriated at 250.
Okay.
And then the 150 that we're asking for, there's some need for maybe backfill and retaining walls to help support the Ben Lomond Hotel, so no damage is done. It's a complicated tear down.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Well, just
Go ahead.
I was going to do a point of clarification that the item that is for the Valley Drive slide repair actually is not under recreation equipment, right? So we're going to change the language.
Correct.
Right?
That was my error. I just copied a line down. It actually
seems
is
like a slide.
It is a streets project.
Yeah.
We could put a slide on the mountain, but it is a streets project.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Lisa, just for transparency and clarity, the next item for the CIP considerations is also part of this consideration.
It is.
Can you?
We are asking to include RG070 for the 4th Street and Castile Field lights in the fiscal year 19 CIP plan, so that we can appropriate the $160,000 in this budget action to that CIP project.
Perfect. Thank you. That's the light pole replacement.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got, before we take action on this item, I think we want to take action to clarify what you just mentioned, Vice Chair.
Yes, Chair. I have a motion, or I move that we amend Schedule B of Ordinance 2019-18 to replace the account name of Recreation Facilities Improvements for a negative $100,000 with street project specific funding for a negative $100,000.
I'll second.
Thank you. Vice Chair Chaburka, thank you. We have a motion by Vice Chair Chaburka, seconded by Councilmember Heyer to amend. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm sorry, should it be?
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, it's a roll call vote. Thank you for the correction. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Heyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens,
Aye.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Vice Chair Chaburka,
Aye.
Chair Nadolski.
Aye, that passes. And that is why Lily gave you a hug, because you catch the important stuff. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, so taking action on the item.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we adopt ordinance 2019-18 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Heyer, second by Vice Chair Chaburka to adopt.
Chair Nadolski.
Yeah.
It's a public hearing.
Oh, thank you.
It is
Thank you.
probably-
So focused on the corrections. Thank you. Before we take action on the underlying item, we will accept public comment if anybody wishes to speak to this item. Thank you, Councilmember White. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Heyer, second by Vice Chair Chaburka to close the public hearing. This is a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Okay, back to business.
Now I'll make that motion that we adopt ordinance 2019-18 as amended.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Heyer, second by Vice Chair Chaburka to adopt the ordinance 2019-18 as amended. This too is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Stevens,
Aye.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer,
Aye.
Vice Chair Chaburka,
Aye.
Chair Nadolski.
Aye, that passes. Thank you. And back to the agenda, item 6B, capital improvement plan amendments. Back to Lisa.
Thank you, Chair Kudowski. The ordinance before you tonight is to include project RG0770. It's the replacement of light poles at city ball fields. This project focuses mostly on Serge Simmons, Castile, and 4th Street Park. The ordinance is asking to adopt this CIP into the 19 CIP plan and also the 20-year CIP plan. Multi-year funding was proposed for this project, $160,000 in fiscal year 19, which was also included in the budget ordinance that you just adopted, and then $100,000 is included in the mayor's tentative budget for your consideration as well. The Planning Commission did review this and voted in favor of proceeding with this project. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for Lisa?
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, this too is a public hearing. If anybody wishes to speak to this item, this is your opportunity to address the council. Seeing no movement, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing on this item.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Heyer, seconded by Vice Chair Chaburka to close the public hearing. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes.
And Mr. Chair, I will also make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2019-19.
I second it.
We have a motion by Councilmember Heyer, second by Councilmember Stevens to adopt proposed ordinance 2019-19. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens,
Aye.
Vice Chair Chaburka,
Aye.
Chair Nadolski.
Aye, that passes. Thank you, Lisa, for sticking it out. And Justin. Okay, next item on our agenda is new business. Well, I guess we're going to hear from you again.
Somebody
Fiscal year 2019-2020 tentative budget. Oh,
Man, it's
sorry.
coming up.
Chair Heyer, council members.
She was worried.
Nadolski.
Oh, sorry, Chair Nadolski, sorry.
That's okay, she got me back.
Yeah. Appreciate the opportunity. As you know, we are required by state law to adopt a tentative budget prior to adopting the final budget. And so we've only are in 2 weeks, so you haven't had a chance to review the entire budget yet. So I just want to do a quick overview, very high level overview of what's in the budget. The mayor's proposed budget, primarily most of the increases are for city employees. That's 4% for the non-sworn and 4% step increases for the qualifying sworn. There is a significant amount of money going towards redevelopment projects. And this year, they're not proposing any tax increases. We expect that we'll receive the certified tax rate sometime in June. There are some staffing changes that are proposed. 16 new positions, which is a big increase. I think we had 11 last year and hadn't had any new employees for many years before that. So 16 new positions. Contract coordinator is a new position. That individual will be managing all of the contracts that go through the city and ensuring that they route through the appropriate process. some in police, some in building enforcement, a new amphitheater coordinator, senior office assistant for the prosecutors, 3 firefighters, and 4 people to manage recreation and maintain the fields in recreation. But there are 5 eliminated, so there's a net 11 positions new for this year. As you know, majority of the city's budget is for personnel costs, and so this is a big deal. There are 6 positions that are reclassified. This is just a quick high view of the general fund revenue comparisons over the 2019 adopted. Just a couple of $1 million extra in the general fund this year. Property tax is up $366,000. That's primarily due to some new growth and the fact that some RDA areas have expired, and so we're able to acquire some of that money. That's up 3.17%. Some budget comparisons. Total city budget is up less than $1 million, so the administration is being fairly conservative in the way they're expending the money. Of course, the airport, there's a large decrease in the amount for the airport. That's due to the fact that there was a large $4 or $5 million grant that the airport received in FY19. Schedule A is a schedule that may or may not be attached to the tentative budget that addresses changes that generally what we call friendly amendments, errors that we may have found in the budget. We don't have any proposed changes to the tentative budget, so you'd be adopting as presented by the mayor. But of course, you still have the opportunity to make any changes in the Schedule A for that final budget. We always like to review the timeline for the citizens. The mayor presented his budget on the 7th, and you have the opportunity to take for a couple of months, 4 to 5 weeks, 7 to 8 weeks to review the budget before it's adopted. And we are working on that preliminary results from the strategic planning process. I know you've all been anxious to get those preliminary results back to see if there's any opportunities for this current budget to make some changes, with the understanding that most of the changes will come in next year and subsequent budgets from that. You will be tonight. You'll be setting a tentative budget, setting a public hearing on the tentative budget for June 4th. We hope to have a Facebook Live event June 11th. This will give your citizens the opportunity to ask some questions and to interact with you via that medium. We'll have the public hearing for the final budget on June 18th, and we're recommending that you continue that to give citizens just one more opportunity to speak, and with final adoption of the 2020 budget on June 25th. There was a recent law change at the state level. We, in previous years, have been required to adopt the final budget by June 22nd. Not sure why that date was picked, but they did amend state law to extend that to June 30th. So that's just a super high level overview of what's in the current budget. You'll still have an opportunity to review the individual budgets, more departments to come, the RDA and MBA budgets to come for review and consideration. So with that, we recommend that you set the public hearing on the tentative budget for June 4th.
Thank you, Janine.
Questions?
Any questions for Janine?
The nice thing about the tentative budget is that our sales tax is close to 5% increase, and that's a good sign in that aspect there.
Yep.
Yeah, especially with the federal shutdown, we were a little bit worried that
Yeah.
might impact it.
Yep. Any other questions or comments this time? Thank you, Janine. Okay, I'll entertain a motion for.
I'll make that motion then, that we Adopt proposed set the public hearing for June 4th for ordinance 2019-21.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Heyer, second by Councilmember White, to adopt proposed ordinance 2019-21, which would set the public hearing for June 4th, 2019. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. Okay, next item is public comments. If this is your chance to address the council on any topic of concern.
It's your big chance, Brian.
He's always been a man of many words. Okay, seeing no comment, comments from the mayor's office.
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Thank you, Mark. Comments from council members?
I just want to recognize that we had a great marathon this weekend, even though there was a little bit of Mother
Rain.
Nature amongst us. So another successful weekend.
That was 4 years out of 6 of rain. We may want to consider moving that one.
I don't know when
No
we
can
were.
do.
Have you noticed that it's supposed to rain for like the next 40
Forever.
days?
Yeah.
It's a
Wow.
49.
I'm wondering where the ark was being built.
Yeah, exactly. It's bad.
That's bad. Yep.
It's a common element that it'll rain when we have the marathon, so
Yeah,
we
it's just-
we prepare for that.
Yeah, wash your car that day.
Congrats to our events team for enduring and finishing two difficult weeks in a row, but many months preparing for the 2 weeks. So nice work. Thank you. We have the best events team there is.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Heritage Festival was so organized and well put together. I thought it was really great. And the marathon, of course, is always great.
No kidding. Okay, any other comments from council members? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Heyer, second by Councilmember White to adjourn. This is voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Just a reminder, we'll reconvene in our work session immediately following this. Thanks.